How we doing, guys? Wanted to talk a little bit more about turkey hunting decoy strategy. And turkey hunting is obviously a game of strategy. One of those biggest decisions that you could make if you're running decoys is your decoy setup. So it's whether you're in the rolling hills of rolling farm country, or you're in more of a rugged hill country, kind of like the Black Hills or something. Each has their own challenges, but the key to success, I guess, is knowing to adjust and when to adjust throughout the season. So I kind of want to break that down today. All right, so early season, no matter where I'm hunting, I'm running some sort of male decoy, whether that's a full strut or a quarter strut Jake. The reason's simple because dominance, that dominance is still being established. So these birds, they don't know who's boss yet. So when a Tom sees another Tom in his territory, he's either going to back down or come looking for a fight. Now here in Minnesota farm country, turkeys love using these open fields early in the season because they're strutting in open pastures, working those field edges. The setup plays into that by making my decoys as visible as possible. So we're kind of on a little kill plot here. Same basic strategy. It's wide open. Field behind me is wide open, where these decoys are going to stick out. These Toms, whether they pitch down in this this field here, or they come right over into this little kill plot, they're going to be able to see these decoys from a long distance. All right, so when I'm setting up like a full strut or the Jake decoy here, I always try and position it facing the direction where I expect that turkey to come from. Now, obviously, they're turkeys. They can do whatever they want, but they're either going to come from behind, swing right, completely ignore the plan altogether. But typically, I want to see that strutter's head glowing like a light bulb as they approach, just like you'd see, Tom's head glowing in the woods early in the morning. And then with my hen decoy, I'll try and position her 3 to 4 yards away from that strutter. And the reason for that gap is twofold. For one, it's shot placement. Most of the time, if a gobbler commits, he's coming straight to that strutter first. He may even try and beat the crap out of it. But by leaving that gap, you can almost guarantee that he's going to step into some sort of open space, whether it's behind that full strut or it's in between those decoys, giving me a clear shot. And then the second spot is realism. That distance mimics that natural spacing that a gobbler's often going to come in, posture, strut, drum, do his thing, and try to get that hen's attention. Now, it's tough because later in the season I may not be running a full strut, but that's where if you're just using a hen, sometimes a gobbler is just going to start strutting out of range, try and get that hen to come to him and wait, just out of that bow range or gun range, whatever that is. And that's where adding a male decoy can kind of speed things up a little bit. And if I'm bow hunting, I'm going to angle those decoys just in that perfect, probably, I'm a right-handed shooter, so that 10 to 11 o'clock position to pull that Tom broadside to me, giving me that best shot opportunity. I'm kind of moving into mid to the late season. Once Toms have been fighting for a few weeks, that dominance is set. They know who's in charge. Some birds have won and some have lost, and that's where that full strut decoy may actually spook a turkey, and that may have gotten whooped last season or early this season even. And so here's what I'm looking for. I'm as I'm hunting, I'm listening, I'm watching. Is he gobbling aggressively and cutting my calls off? If he's doing so, that means he's probably still pretty dominant Tom, so I may keep that full strut into mid-season. Or is he hesitant? Is he hanging up? He might be scared of getting beat up again. And so I may switch to that little quarter strut Jake or just that single hen too. And then the third one would be, does he have hens with him? If so, he's probably less likely to fight. So, using a feeder hen or even a couple, 2-3 feeder hens or an array of position of hens, will help maybe to draw more hens over. And then obviously that's going to pull him with them. All right, so field versus timber. We talked about this on the podcast. So if you haven't watched that episode, be sure to go back and re-listen and watch. I don't like putting my decoys straight out in front of me, and there's a couple of reasons. I angle him off to my strong side, which would be 10, 11 o'clock, like I said earlier. That way, when the turkey comes in, he's not staring directly at me when I draw my bow. When I have it at that 10, 11 o'clock position, he's either going to come around from the left side, and I got trees over here, or the right side where I can wait till he's behind, pull back, and by the time he steps into my strong sides, I can shoot him. Open country, I may use a breeder hen sitting low or just almost kind of looking like she's laying right on the ground. In the thick woods, it's just kind of useless because it's going to get lost with, especially once you start to get green up in all the underbrush and stuff. So I'll use more of an upright hen decoy position. So hunting in hills, we were out in the Black Hills last year, whether you're over in the Mississippi River Valley, that kind of stuff. I've learned that, the ridge setups are a lot different than just the flatland. If I'm working a Tom from below, I'm never going to put my Tom decoy or whatever decoy I'm running right at the lip of that ridge, because if he crests that ridge, the first thing he sees is a strutter right in his face. He may get nervous and drop back down and get out of there. Instead, I'm going to pull my decoys maybe 5 to 10 yards back off of that lip, so when he comes up, he has time to kind of get comfortable, check out what's going on, and then decide if he's going to get, commit to my setup. And that little adjustment can make a huge difference in your success, because like I said, otherwise he comes right up over that ridge and there's a tom right in his face. He may just booger right out and you never even get a chance to see him or take a shot. All right, so the fun of using decoys is obvious. You get a little bit of a show. Some guys love running and gunning without them. I get it. I like doing it too, and that's a great way to hunt. But for me, the best part of decoys is the show. You get to watch that tom come in, strut, jump, fully commit to the setup, maybe beat up your decoy a little bit, who knows. And it just kind of doesn't get better than that. It's kind of it's pretty fun to watch. And, at the end of the day, decoys are just another tool that you have in your tool belt. They're not going to guarantee you success, but when used right, they can turn that hesitant bird, into a dead one. So next time you set up, think about what phase of the season are you in? Are you in early, mid to late season? And then adjust accordingly and watch, maybe the show unfold. All right, so that's a little quick breakdown of kind of how I operate using turkey decoys, out in the woods, out in the fields, kind of wherever you're at. If you liked what you saw here, be sure to like, subscribe below so you don't miss out on anything we got going on. We got a ton of turkey content coming up. We're going to be doing a ton of hunting this season. It's going to be a fast and crazy season here for us in Minnesota. Going to get over to Wisconsin too a little bit, but it should be a good season. So again, thanks again, and God bless.